DreamWorks has brought us some of the most relatable animated characters of all time. Let's take a closer look at their stories and find out why they've won the hearts of millions. Number 10. Eep from the Cruds. Back in prehistoric times, life wasn't a walk in the park. The Cruds, a family living in those rough and tough times, decided to play it safe just to stay alive. But not everyone in the family agreed with this approach. Eep, the oldest daughter, rebelled against the family's rules and snuck out of their cave when nobody was watching. Eep's curiosity and open-mindedness started a wild adventure for the whole family. Her character is super relatable to kids and teens who felt the need to explore and challenge their own family's ways. Even adults can connect with her inquisitive spirit because, let's face it, we all learn new stuff every day. Number 9. Marty from Madagascar. Marty, a zebra living at Central Park Zoo, felt like something was missing in his life. He longed to explore the wild and experience the thrill of adventure. On his 10th birthday, which is basically middle-aged for a zebra, Marty told his zoo pals about his dream, only to have them laugh it off as a joke. But Marty was serious about making his dream a reality. He decided to take a leap of faith and ran off to chase his adventure. His concerned friends followed him to make sure he was safe. Marty's story resonates with a lot of us, no matter our age. We've all had those moments when we wanted to break free and try something new. And for parents watching the movie with their kids, Marty's midlife crisis probably hit close to home. So whether you're a young dreamer or a grown-up looking for a change, Marty's journey is one that touches everyone's heart. Number 8. Poppy from Trolls. In the movie Trolls, the protagonist Poppy faces a bunch of challenges that push her to grow as a person and leader. She's next in line to lead her troll community, and she's all about spreading love, positivity, and throwing epic dance parties. But one super loud celebration catches the attention of some baddies who put her friends in harm's way. Poppy starts to understand that being careful is important, but she never loses her sunny attitude. She sets off to save her pals, making some mistakes along the way. She realizes that even though things didn't go as planned, you can always learn from your slip-ups and keep pushing forward. Poppy might not be perfect, but her story reminds us that it's okay to mess up sometimes. It's all about getting back up, learning from our mistakes, and staying positive, no matter what life throws at us. Number 7. Tulio from The Road to El Dorado. Let's face it, money is a huge part of life, and no DreamWorks character knows this better than Tulio from The Road to El Dorado. While his buddy Miguel is all about chasing adventure, Tulio is focused on stacking that cash. He's got a bit of a greedy side, but that doesn't mean he doesn't care about his friends, especially Miguel. Tulio is the brainy one in their dynamic duo, and he's constantly looking out for Miguel, trying to keep him safe from all the craziness they get into. Like any good partners, they have their disagreements, but they always make up in the end. Miguel wants to be the hero, while Tulio just wants to survive another day, a feeling we've all experienced at some point. So whether you're chasing adventure or just trying to get by, Tulio's got a lesson or two to teach us about balancing our desires and staying true to our friendships. Number 6. Branch from Trolls. Let's dive into another Trolls character, Branch. This little guy is a super relatable character, especially in today's world. Branch has gone through some tough times in his life, and it's left him feeling really anxious and negative about the future. He's seen the dangers of the world firsthand, and he's always on guard, preparing for the worst. And while it's important to be cautious and plan ahead, it's equally important to remember that there's still hope in even the toughest situations. Branch is a great example of someone who's faced some tough stuff and is learning to navigate life with a mix of caution and optimism. He's got a lot to teach us about balancing our worries and keeping our eyes open for the good things in life, even when things seem bleak. So whether you're dealing with some heavy stuff or just trying to find your way, Branch has some wisdom to share about staying hopeful and keeping your head up, even in tough times. Number 5. Tigress from Kung Fu Panda. Let's talk about Tigress, the Kung Fu master from Kung Fu Panda. She's the hard worker who's next in line for that big promotion at work, but then someone else swoops in and takes it, and that someone might not even be qualified for the job. Yeah, it's a tough situation, and Tigress definitely feels some resentment toward Po at first. But as the story unfolds, she realizes that Po is just trying to navigate the same confusing situation as her. And beneath all that intense martial arts skill, Tigress has a heart and some feelings she's dealing with. In the sequel Kung Fu Panda 2, we get to explore Tigress's character even more. We see her compassionate side come out, which is a part of her that she doesn't always show. For people who have trouble balancing their emotions with their actions, Tigress is a great character to learn from. She shows us that it's important to be strong and skilled, but also to be in touch with our feelings and to care about others. So whether you're facing a tricky work situation or just trying to be more open with your emotions, Tigress has some wisdom to share. Number 4. Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. Let's talk about Hiccup, the young Viking from How to Train Your Dragon. Throughout the story, Hiccup is that awkward kid who just wants to fit in but doesn't really know how. He's constantly trying to figure himself out, which is a feeling that tons of teenagers can relate to. While everyone else in Berk is prepping for an all-out battle against the dragons, Hiccup's got mixed feelings about the whole situation. He's not sure if fighting is really the answer, but he goes along with it anyway. But then, something changes. Hiccup finds himself face to face with a dragon, and he just can't bring himself to take its life. He lets the dragon go, and in return, it shows him some mercy. This moment is a game changer for Hiccup. He realizes that the cycle of violence between Vikings and dragons has to end, and he's the one who's got to make it happen. It's a powerful story about standing up for what you believe in, even when it goes against the norm. And it's a message that still rings true for people today who are fighting to change society for the better. Number 3. Po from Kung Fu Panda. If you're a fan of Kung Fu movies, you know the typical main character is usually a slim, fit, super serious type who's always focused and disciplined. But then there's Po from Kung Fu Panda. He's none of those things. And that's why people connect with him so much. Po's not just different in his physical appearance, he's also a departure from the typical Kung Fu hero in his personality. He's down to earth, a little bit goofy, and lacks discipline. But that's exactly why people root for him. He represents all the regular folks out there who dream of becoming heroes, but aren't sure if they've got what it takes. And what's great about Po is that even after he saves the day, he doesn't suddenly transform into a different person. He's still the same lovable nerdy guy who makes people laugh and keeps things humble. He's the underdog hero that everyone can relate to, and that's why he stands out as a memorable and beloved character. Number 2. Shrek from Shrek. You've probably seen Shrek, the movie that flips the script on traditional fairy tales. Unlike most fantasy heroes who are super optimistic, brave, and all about saving the day, Shrek is a bit of a grumpy self-centered guy who's a little jaded about society. He agrees to rescue Princess Fiona, but it's not exactly out of the goodness of his heart. He's got his own motives. But let's be real, Shrek's not all bad. He's been treated like an outcast his whole life, so of course he's a little rough around the edges. But despite his cranky exterior, there's a friendly, caring side to him that shines through. And he does have his heroic moments. The thing about Shrek is that he's a reminder that nobody's perfectly good or bad. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, and our experiences shape who we become. Shrek's imperfect character is what makes him so relatable and lovable. He's not your typical fairy tale hero, and that's why people connect with him on a deeper level. Number 1. Megamind from Megamind. Let's talk about Megamind, the underrated animated film. While the animation might not have been the smoothest, what the movie lacked in visuals, it made up for in depth of character. Megamind was a protagonist who was dealing with some serious inner turmoil about his role in life. He always saw himself as the villain, and his whole existence revolved around that identity. He was constantly battling his nemesis, Metroman, and when he finally defeated him, he was left feeling empty and without purpose. It's not often that we see a character go through such a complex existential crisis, but Megamind was all about that. It really struck a chord with people who felt lost and unsure about their path in life. Sometimes, life needs a shake-up for us to figure out our true purpose. And that's what made Megamind so relatable and memorable. He wasn't just a one-dimensional cartoon character. He was dealing with some heavy real-life issues that many of us face. And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps me out a lot.